I didn't realize I was going to be making another episode of the GP Westclox show so soon, but that's how it happened. And here's I'll give you the backstory here first. So as many of you remember, I don't know if, or maybe you don't, the Ingraham Kitchenette, which is over there, and I did a service Ola on this actually. AKA cleaning, lubricating, blah, 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 all the rest of that. And I think it worked out fine, other than one little anomaly, and it's been like a year or so later, and I just took the clock apart just to see what was going on inside of it. And I'm looking at the pivots here, and there seems to be no oil on them. So I don't know what happened to all the oil, and I know there's a bit of oil around here somewhere, where the rotor was sitting. But there's no oil, and I don't know if I applied it poorly or what the heck happened. So anyway, I'm going to be reapplying mobile oil to this. And yeah, I'll do that on camera here. But yeah, this isn't the subject of today's video. So this is still a successful repair here. Well, not really repair, a successful cleaning. And yes, I did use mineral spirits for this. I won't be using mineral spirits today though. Today we'll be having a look at the Kitchenette's rotor. Now, in electric clocks, well, old electric clocks, I can't speak for modern ones, but old ones ranging from the dawning of electric clocks, well, maybe not, maybe like past, I would think 1920s electric clocks when they stopped being experimental, all the way up until the end of them in the 60s and 70s. The rotor was the epicenter of the entire thing. You see, there's not much going on in the kitchenette. There's just a few gears. There's a plate. It's all brass except for that time setting gear. It's all brass in there. And then there's this thing, which looks like a can. It looks like it has soup in it. Well, no, there's no soup in it this time, viewers. Not quite. No, rotors are interesting. Sometimes they come apart and sometimes they do. And I took this off here today. And I'm looking at that brass screw and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if that is a screw, or this nut here, sorry. I'm looking at this nut and I'm wondering, does that come off? And I went to a pair of pliers and you know, got it to move. Lo and behold, it does actually come off, if I can get it off there. This little nut here, if you watch the kitchenette video, the previous kitchenette video, you'll see that screw. I didn't really think about it much, and I might have even said on camera the rotors don't come apart. Not all rotors do. There are some that do come apart. And I saw that screw and I'm thinking, well, does it come apart? Well, I got the lid off, or I got the top of the can here, the rotor can here off. This thing just popped off. And I got to see the inside of the rotor, and here it is. There's the inside of the rotor. There's a brass gear here, a gear going straight down the middle, and a fiber gear. And I think there's another gear over here too. There's two fiber gears in there. And as you can see, there's lots of rivets here, so this won't be coming apart. I don't know if it, you know, can come out of here or not. I don't think these little, maybe they do. You know, I don't want to play that game today. But anyway, this seems to, you know, there's an electric rotor down there, and it spins that center gear, spins that gear, yada, yada, yada. There's not much going on in here either. This thing gives the clock its weight, though, for sure. Very interesting little device. On the subject of lubrication, there is very little lubrication. That was some that I put there to leak down into the rotor, but I can see that didn't get anywhere because of the way this is designed. No, if you want to lubricate this particular rotor, you have to take it apart. I don't know about other ones. I know General Electric, Telecron, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if GE and Telecron were the same thing. I don't think they were. But anyway, you had to, well, you couldn't take them apart, or maybe you can. I don't know. I heard that there are some people who rebuild rotors. Make of that what you will here. I don't know how you rebuild this, considering Well, and this one's riveted together. I can't speak for all the other rotors in different companies and whatnot. I should be more specific that this is Ingraham and not General Electric or something like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and clean off the fiber gears and then re-lubricate this whole thing. Now, I mean, just by looking at it, there's supposed to be lubrication in there, but it's all dried up now, and I can't see where. Okay, I see where the gears are, or where that where they touch each other. I mean, where they intercept with each other. And yeah, there's supposed to be gear grease. You can see right there. That's probably the best image there. There's supposed to be grease. I'm debating if I should. Maybe I should just leave it alone, huh? I mean, it's dry. Let me just get a Q-tip. Yeah, okay, here we go. I mean, trying to get anything off there. Getting in there. Oh, we're getting some movement out of this now. Oh no, it's not as dry as we think, viewers. Yeah, we're not as dry as we think. That just came off. Okay, well I gotta get all this crap out of here. Or at least try. It's pretty difficult considering it's riveted together. I don't know, it might... I don't know, do these plastic things come off somehow? I don't know. And it says something on the bottom here. Let me read this to you. Ingraham Clock Company, USA. Model, what model is this? Model, I don't know what you can make of that. 115 volts, 60 cycles. 54? Well, that's something, viewers. This clock is from 1954. I didn't know that. We're discovering things live on camera. This rotor is built in 1954. The Kitchenette, the original Kitchenette, is supposed to be from 1948. So, as you know, the Kitchenette, the Ingraham the original edition of this, there was a white one, there was a red one, and I think that was it. I think it was just white and red. But this one's from 54. This isn't from 48. Well, there goes that. And there goes that theory. The rotor's from 54, and I should also mention yellow was never a color that Ingraham was offering. Look at the original sales catalog here on clockhistory.com. They have the original ad for this particular clock, as well as many others, more specifically Westclox and Seth Thomas, but they do have Ingraham on there. And I'm getting more crap off there. Yeah, yellow was never a color they offered, and that made this clock a bit of an anomaly, to me anyway. And maybe it's because this is Canada and it's like the alternate universe of antiques over here, especially in the record industry. That's the alternate universe of antiques. That's a story for another day. Yeah, we're getting a little bit off. Okay, now let's just do some cleaning here on camera. And I should also mention, I don't want to get a bunch of lint in this thing either. Oh, that's great. Yes, viewers, the troubles of clock cleaning. For crying out loud. Anyway. I think that's, to me it looks like it's almost brown. That wheel there looks like it's brown. Is that fiber? I wonder if it's fiber or if it's metal. I mean steel. Is that fiber? I don't know, viewers. It looks like it's almost... I don't know if you can see that quite right. And there's a little bit of lint there now. See, that's why, you know, that's why you don't... Or maybe that's why you do. I don't... Going in with Q-tips is always... There's always something with these things. Especially since, like, this one can't be taken apart. You need to get... If I were to do this properly, this whole thing would be in pieces, and it's not. You can't do that. Because the way it's designed, and I know I won't be giving this much flack because I think electric rotors like this were almost the... I mean the clock industry itself was starting to decline ever so slightly, but not much. I mean, there wasn't much quality decrease to mechanical clocks as we drop the camera. I mean, electrics, yeah, sure, there was a few budget cuts here and there, but, you know, it was like, oh, you know, take this off, we'll be fine. take this off, or take that off. Don't worry about it. And in this case, it was not. It was don't bother with screws. So yeah, if I could unscrew this, I would, but it doesn't look like that's going to be possible. I think these are pretty well stuck in there. This plastic thing. Is it? With that somewhat pathetic cleaning attempt out of the way, well, not almost out of the way. Okay, we're gonna use my scrap shirt there, as I like to call it, the scrap shirt, to cover no, it's not even a scrap, it's a rag. That's what it is now. So now we're gonna lubricate the fiber gears with grease. Now this thing does make a bit of a hum when it's running, and I don't know if that's due to the lack of lubrication or what that is. But yeah, anyway, and I use this exact same multi-purpose grease, this lithium grease, on the BSR console stereo serviceable, and I see there's my Q-tip in there from last time, and I think I may or may not have taken too much grease. Would you believe that Greg did something wrong on camera? No, that doesn't happen. I'm still deciding. Yeah, I mean, if it's metal or not, there's still hints of lubrication on here, so I'll take a big glob there and just go like that. I'm making a mess here, that's what I'm doing. Getting it all over the side and top. Okay, we're gonna... That's how this works, viewers. You decide to take this stuff up. Occasionally you make a mess of things. And there we go, there's a bit of grease there. A bit of gear grease. I don't know what... Was it on the top too? It looks like it was all over. Because it seems to really want to shine on the top there. They probably had a grease gun. I don't know what they would have been using back in the day for this, but they probably had some sort of gun. They just shoot it in there quick. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they did it like this. Maybe this is how they lubricated them. There we go. At least I can spin this. Kind of get this on here. It's difficult to get on here, viewers, because I'm trying not to get the top of this all messed up here too. And I'm getting... Okay, we're going to put more on the tip here of the Q-tip. Or not the Q-tip, the toothpick. Get that on camera here too, viewers. Better get it on camera. That'd be something if I didn't. So I'm gonna more or less do it like this now. I think we're okay. There we go, and it should start. That should be that. That should be that. I feel like there should be more on here though, viewers. So we're gonna take a big swab like this and just stick it in there and wipe it all around, wipe it on the power cord. The fine gentleman at the Ingraham company did this a little bit neater than... Hello again, guys. It's... Or not hello. Oh, we dropped that, Greg. Not, Greg in his basement. Come on. There we go. In you go. Play nice, hey? There we go. Yeah, we made a slight mess there, but that's okay. This needed doing anyway. And now this thing knows what it's like to run there again. It's you know, viewers, it's nice having a nice multi-purpose grease for things. For 50s clocks that you previously thought were from the 40s because you didn't look at the obvious, such as a date stamp. Now with the mess made, I'm wondering if I should oil that pivot down there. I don't know how much this thing was lubricated originally, but yeah, I think lubricants of today are probably better than lubricants of yesteryear. I think I'll oil that pivot in there too. I won't put much on though, viewers. Viewers, if there wasn't any oil or any grease in this thing, there is now for sure. Remember, I didn't put a heck of a lot on that one pivot there. You can't get to all the pivots because of the way this thing is. And I don't, now I know this may be a dumb time to ask this. Are we all sure that this doesn't come apart? Is everybody sure? Are we all, I don't know. I don't know, viewers. I just don't know. The screws may be on the opposite side of this thing. I mean, right there, it looks like there could be potentially screws on the other side of this. Looking at those rivet screws there, as I like to call them. I mean, those are just the ends of the rivets, but it looks like a screw. But those are rivets on there. Before you call me a complete moron. Now, here's what we're going to be replacing the original cord with. It's this plain black one here. With, what does it say, L7? I think this was on a, what was that on? That was on a digital clock from, I cannot remember what the brand name is completely slipping me right now. I'll do a video on it here at some point, but, or on that company at some point, but anyway, this cord was on there. Here's the original cord on top of all this nonsense here. No new cord is going to capture that look. And I did this because this gets incredibly hard to unplug from where I have it plugged in. And I think this might just rip in half one day. Or maybe it won't. Anyway, let's see what brand this is. Probably gone brand. I don't know. Cords. Okay, yep. Cords. Just says cords on both sides. Well, I don't know what that's worth for you viewers, but anyway, that's a cords cord. And it is now retired. And I like documenting the old power cords because they have an interesting look all of their own. Here's something we can salvage from the original cord. This little biscuit here, as I like to call them. This little grommet here. I don't know if this was rubber, and might have been. It's hard as a rock now. I have no idea what it's for. But this would have, maybe the price tag would have been on this thing somewhere. And whoever had it just never bothered to take it. I mean, this is the original power cord from the clock. This is out of 54, as we just discovered. This was on here somewhere. This must have some sort of function. But anyway, I'm going to take this and put it on that cord. And there's a little knot here in the cord, which I can easily undo. I don't know what that's all about, but anyway. If you don't know how to undo a knot like this, it goes something like that. And that might have just been for spacing. I don't know. And this is completely... Yeah, I don't know how electrically safe that is anymore. Or how much it was to begin with. Anyway, let's get that little grommet off. All the way, through little loops and things, and off the end of this. And there it is. And now we can throw this cord. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with that cord. I really don't know what I'm going to do with it. But, I mean, generally old cords, if they're in bad shape, this one isn't in awful shape. There's a lot worse than this. But since this particular device stays plugged in for long periods of time, you know, it's kind of a wise idea to replace the cord on something like this. And I can see there's a bit of something going on there. Anyway, I think something might be broken off the edge of this, but anyway. I don't know. I'll keep this cord. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I'll put the new one on. And that's my cord rambling. Now we got the little biscuit, the little grommet on the cord. You can put the cord on now. So here's something that makes the cord installation process a million times easier. That plastic sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, the spacer, the divider, whatever you want to call that. Let me get a screwdriver here so I can jam that in there a little bit better. Yeah, that whole process just got way easier thanks to these plastic dividers here. And that makes up for this thing not being able to come apart. Because cord installation, and I'm not even focusing, cord installation is always kind of an annoying task. I won't call it a terrible task. It's somewhat agitating though at times. I'll just screw this back on. These are quite dirty. I don't know if they're going to cause an electrical fire, and I'm dropping the camera everywhere. These, those washers are somewhat dirty. I don't know, or those little nuts are somewhat dirty. I don't know if they're going to flat out cause an electrical fire or what they're going to do. But anyway, that's how that goes on. Now, instead of the grumbling, almost like grumbling sound that this thing used to make, it used to make kind of a whirring, which isn't entirely unusual for these types of clocks. Now we've got basically complete silence here. I can't hear anything out of there. And what's funny is when I'm totally quiet, I can actually hear the Palm Quality or the Palm Dairies ice cream clock over on the wall, which is something that I covered in a previous video. And not only that, but you can't get in there, not like you can with this. So I think this rotor is a little bit healthier now that we're actually lubricating it. And yeah, there's the power. Oh, I hope I don't want to get electrocuted. If I was going to get electrocuted, I probably would by now. But here's a lighter tone. Here's the actual cord. And yeah. But yeah, I guess this is what happens with quality products. They actually survive. And yeah, this one has just been lubricated. And a quick little thing. I hope I've done this right. I would think this would be it's synthetic grease on this. I would think that'd be correct for something like this. And isn't that motion just beautiful? The way you can see it going there. Anyway, I believe that is correct. And that was a very graceful stop right there, viewers. Let me just do that one more time. Yes, this thing, I don't know. It's quality, and yeah, look at that. I think we're good. I don't know how this thing would have stopped before. I didn't run this when it didn't have any lubrication on it. And if you look back at the old video clips of the Kitchenette running, or when I had the rotor out all by itself, it made a grumbling, which it isn't now. So we've had enough fun with the rotor. We gotta get to that point where you gotta seal it back up. It's gonna be a shame saying goodbye to this gear mechanism, or this little mechanism here that we just figured out and whatnot. Anyway, here's the top of it. And yeah, get one nice look at that before we have to close it up. Sometimes these mechanisms are just great looking all by themselves, and it's hard to, why am I getting all sentimental about this? This just pops on, away you go, and it doesn't have to be too terribly tight. Well, it hasn't clipped on here, but anyway, we're gonna put that screw on. If this wasn't a screw on, I don't know what I'd do, viewers. Ironically, the black power cord suits that hole. It suits the rotor actually a little bit more. If you look at that, and this isn't going on at all. Nice. I'll catch you guys in a bit, viewers, when I actually get this on. Turns out that wasn't as long as we suspect, or it was as long as I thought, viewers. That just popped on really fast. So that's the rotor sealed up. Put this screw on. Chances are, viewers, if there's a, whoops, I did this upside down. Chances are, viewers, if there's a nut like this on there, chances are it's gonna open up, and I keep putting it on upside down. Yeah, chances are there's some sort of, this comes apart, you know, some sort of deal with it. Well, that was fun. Okay, now let's get to the kitchenette. Let's get back to the kitchenette, even though that wasn't the subject of this video anyway. So back to the actual kitchenette here. We can see this pivot here, both dry. Still have no idea why that is, but anyway, we're going to use my high-budget taped-on oiler with a pin on the end. I don't like using oil bottles, and especially when you have a quart of oil here, I don't want to use an oil bottle. I want to dip this thing into the oil and then, you know, put it on as I please, and I think we'll go with that. A little drop there. I think, did I get that on? I'm getting it everywhere. I can't see what I'm doing, viewers. That's great. We're gonna try that one more time. Actually, no, we're gonna wipe that up with a Q-tip. And we're gonna try it one more time. Yes, no shortage of Q-tips in this video, viewers. I don't know if I screwed that up or not because I wasn't watching. Oh yeah, sure, just do it right down through camera. Doesn't matter, Greg, what you're actually trying to do. Okay, there's a drop of oil on my oiler, and you can't see any of that because it's not. This is why maybe the oil bottle would have been better. There it is. There it is, viewers. It's on the pivot. That was a bit of a bigger bubble there. I don't know. I don't know how it was last time. I guess I'd have to go back and look at the film. I'm not dismantling the full clock here to get all the pivot. Well, there's one other pivot which I did oil here. I don't know if I got that on camera or not. Just one other pivot. Why am I getting this everywhere? Okay. Yeah, there is one other pivot here, which I did oil. I don't know, as I said, I don't know if I got it on camera or not. But anyway, there's that. That's that done. I'll come in here in a few months and see how my oiling technique, how good or bad it is. I'll try and clean it up around the pivots, around the bushing. It kind of makes you wonder, looking at a movement plate like this. You wonder what other clocks that exact plate might have been on or designed for. Because there's all sorts of little holes in that. And I don't know what or where or when. I'd assume the plates would be older than 54. I gotta get this gear in here right. The plates would be older than 54, but you know, it's, I don't know, the way it is, it just makes you wonder if that makes any sense at all, which it kind of doesn't. What I'm wondering here, viewers, are what other clocks could that movement plate there have been used on? And I don't know, maybe there were alarm clocks that had that exact plate in them. If you have any Ingraham electric clocks, or maybe wind-up, I don't know, there may have been a wind-up with that movement plate in there. As I try to figure out which way the rotor goes in, I don't know anymore. I'll have to look back at the film now. Okay, well, I've just figured out two things. One, I didn't record it before, and two, I wonder if that's why in those weird little gear not aligned. I made a few videos on this clock, and I couldn't figure out why the gears weren't, there was a bit of play in the gears there. I don't know if anyone saw anything of that, but anyway, I made these videos on this, trying to figure out why the Kitchenette, like the second hand, would almost fall down the dial. The gears would just be completely 100% free for like, I don't know, half a second. Not even that, and then it would just continue on like nothing happened, and it still kept accurate time. That didn't affect the time by a single second. After all, that's only like the motion works, which are almost the visuals, and I don't know, electric clocks, I'm almost going to start another tangent there. I better finish my first one. I wonder, the point of this is, I wonder if the rotor, the way it was positioned, made it so that there was a bit of play in the gears, the way I put it in, because it seems to move around a little bit. You know, it seems to slide around under here, and I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it. And then eventually that whole gear play thing stopped. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link it in the description. But anyway, I wonder if that whole gear play thing stopped because eventually the rotor somehow slid into the right position. Which, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me that it would do that. I mean, it's hanging on the wall. The cord's pulling it down. So, you know, just move it ever so slightly and away you go. It's fixed. Anyway, what was I about to say? Electric clocks, yeah, they're, as I said, they're just powered by a rotor. The rest of this is just motion work, honestly. And that's why they could afford to, well, I mean, they did that with mechanical alarm clocks too. But anyway, this is all motion works and stuff. And that's why they could scale it down a bit, because, you know, it just moves the, there's nothing here except for the rotor that actually drives the clock. All the rest of this is just moving the hands around. And I guess yeah, they could scale. They did scale mechanical alarm clocks back, and I would assume other clocks got victim of this too, where they were literally just riveted together, and there was all sorts of nonsense, and things were being built really poorly, and oh man, I don't know. Hope you can understand what I'm ranting about, viewers. I don't know if I'm making any sense now or not. Let's continue to tighten this up. It's not fully tightened, viewers, as you can see by the way it's moving. It's kind of an awkward little nut to get at, but there we go. I think we're almost ready. It was very smooth tightening here. There we go. There we go. He's ready now. So this shouldn't move anymore. I don't know, viewers, what was going on with that time with the gear play. I really have no idea. And now the cord is going through the back of the bottom of this clock. Now we will put the piece of steel on, and away we'll go, I guess. There's a bit of marks there from, I don't know if that's from, well, I guess it might be dirt. Might be able to clean that off. Wait, did I already? I think I already did clean it off. Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. Doesn't matter. What does that say? I'm completely misreading that. Operates only on controlled 60 cycle AC, 100 to 125 volts. Okay. And if you forget the voltage, viewers, when you have the clock assembled, you can see it there on the back of the kitchenette. Yes, this is an oddball model, isn't it, viewers, because of the fact that this clock was introduced in '48 and yellow was never an option for this clock. It's not painted. You can clearly see that's the way the plastic was. And you can't see what I'm doing right now, viewers, because I'm putting on the other nut, but yeah, yellow was never an option. At least not in '48 it wasn't, and then later on, I guess, Ingraham decided, at least for Canada, they decided to mold these in yellow plastic, or I think that's how it works, mold it in yellow plastic. Here's one of Greg's famous comment questions to ask everybody. What do you prefer, the black cord or the white cord? I almost said the yellow cord. I could put a yellow cord on this, but I don't know how good it would look. Why did Greg use the black cord? Well, it's the only cord he has on hand right now. And it's the one with the conveniently stripped as well, and I think that's tight enough. There it is. And away it goes. After a quick test, I can assure you that this is now running properly. And you know what, viewers? I think I prefer the black over the white, as bizarre as that sounds. As a guy who always likes the original way it was, yeah, I prefer the black. The new black over the white. Greg is going modern, everybody! He's gonna start doing videos on quartz clocks! Everybody run! It's getting around almost 7:30 here, and I don't know what the heck I'm even saying anymore, viewers. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't like throwing away old power cords, as bizarre as that sounds. I don't know, I feel like I'm violating the actual antique itself. And in this case, I mean, this is going to be in constant use, so I'd like a newer cord, and you know, it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I got the little tribute biscuit here, the grommet, as they call it. I still don't know what that was for. Maybe it was either for packing, or the price tag went on there somewhere. Anyway, as for the original cord, I don't know. And yes, viewers, we will do the Eclipse Graphenola Servisola, and I should mention this quick right now. It'll be done on the Gregola Record show, but I'll make an announcement about that. So don't you worry about the Eclipse. It'll be done. And summer, well, we're almost in springtime. It's getting to be springtime. It's February now. So yeah. Anyway, viewers. Well, after letting the clock run for a week up on the wall, we've got some sound back from the rotor. That's not the worst thing in the world. Generally, electric clocks do have some sort of sound to them, and I was skeptical as to if it would stay silent, which, as you can see, it hasn't, which is fine. The one thing about electric clocks and lubrication is the fact that it takes a while to settle in, because this thing, how it started, it went up on the wall, and then I had to make some adjustments because the hands were, yeah, anyway, there was a few adjustments that had to be made with the hands. I kind of messed something up a little bit. I didn't break anything, but the hands weren't positioned quite correctly, and they started pushing each other around the dial. That's what happened. So anyway, I made that adjustment, and then put it back up on the wall, and then there was no sound for a while, or for about a day, and then the next day there was sound coming from this thing, and it was louder than this. And I figured, well, I don't know, maybe that's the sound it'll make, or whatever, I don't know, I'll just continue to leave it. So it made a few different sounds throughout the week before settling on this. So yes, viewers, lubrication does take a while to settle down, and I think it actually has now. So yes, we're back up on the wall and we're operating. And as you can see, the cord is going behind the microwave there. I don't know, I mean, it's not too, the cord isn't too overwhelmingly obvious there. I think it's okay. I think we can get away with the black cord. And just in case you can't hear it, there's the sound. So when people are in the kitchen and things are happening, that's like the clock sounds silent. I mean, the kitchen itself has to be silent before you can actually hear anything coming from the clock. So yes, viewers, I think we were successful this time. And yeah, thank you for watching, viewers. And I hope you tune into the next video.